Good morning, Lasham, to another sunny day. Good morning, Lasham, to another sunny day at this moment. We are expecting to fly today. There's no results to give out. And with no further ado, I'll pass you on.
Yes, good morning, everybody. And thank you again to our sponsors, Applegarth, who I know are providing some lovely hampers, Vertigo Covers, Vertigo Aviation Detailing, and G's book, The Soaring Engine. Church notices from me. Thank you very much for your patience this morning. We needed the weather window to help our tenants get that Airbus in, but it is in now. There might be some jet movements tomorrow and or this evening, but we'll keep you updated by text. As a reminder, with questions, please use the chat function or the Q&A function in Zoom if you are watching this on your device. If you're sat in the briefing room in the Brown Elephant, then please text the question to the number which you can see on there, and we will receive that. The food's been really good last week. I'm sure everybody enjoyed the all-you-can-eat curry night. I certainly did. Tickets are still available for the hog roast, the Italian and barbecue as we go through the rest. Friday night remains party night, and Mark Davenport is kindly organising that. We've had some really good acts before. There's some good talent within Lasham and the wider BGA with music. So I look forward to seeing how people get on with that. Back to Director for the Director's Notes.
Hello. Not a lot in church notices other than two-seaters. Please let us know who you are. Today we're putting the 18 metres up the front on 2-7. They've only had 2 days. And there's a possibility it's going to be quite a struggle today on minimum tasks. So although we've actually killed a few trees printing all today's task sheets off, we're not going to be deciding on tasks until shortly before we go. Before we do anything else, we'll put you back to Jordan.
So I'll get the weather up in just a minute. One further church notice was we're aware that there is a fault with one of the shower blocks. I am told that that's being looked into. Right, I'll just go to the other screen for the weather. Okay, excellent. Check I'm working. Yep, I definitely am on. So, weather briefing for Thursday, the 18th of August. It's been a bit stormy, hasn't it? So, we've had some rain at Lasham. The BBC were actually discussing the fact that Odium hadn't had any proper recorded rainfall in about sort of 40, 50 days or so. So, that was definitely blown out of the water yesterday. But today, we're in sort of a warm sector with another sort of load of fronts approaching. This is the chart at 12 o'clock. The mist and murk has been starting to burn off, though visibility remains poor. And as we go through the day, this warm front's going to be coming towards us, not particularly quickly. In fact, this cold front is only due to pass during the sort of early to mid part of tomorrow morning, but it'll be enough of an issue that further out to the west, much further out towards Somerset and Devon, the conditions are not looking so good. So yeah, we're sort of got a bit of a confined task area. The winds have picked up a little bit widely across the task area. We got sort of a west southwesterly influence, sort of 15 knots, on the ground probably around 10. Satellite picture over the UK currently shows a fair amount of cloud at varying levels. You can see this central bit of cloud, which is what you could see out the window right now, thickening up. That was forecast, so it is likely to get a bit sort of more drab before it gets better. But as you can see, this area here, which is just sort of just passing Weymouth, just past North Hill, that's hopefully going to continue to burn back, and this hole is going to get a bit wider to allow us to launch and get you on task. So plenty of cloud, and at various levels too. This also shows the clouds, that bulk which is just approaching Salisbury now, but yeah, better behind it. Public forecast today is showing a top temperature of 23 degrees, that's southwesterly wind in place. Visibility on the whole is going to be pretty poor, folks, so be careful if you are whizzing around at cloud base, because it won't always be that nice, but yeah, 23 degrees and sunny intervals. No real chance of storms. There is due to be the cold front going through overnight, so your gliders might get a little bit wet, and it's looking good for tomorrow. GFS predicts that if we do get a little more heating, we may see 25, maybe even 26 in isolated spots. And dew points, well, we can all feel it's a bit humid now. We're probably looking at sort of 11 degrees for dew points. I haven't got the next Larkula scent because it's been released yet. So you can see on that, it was quite moist this morning. I don't need to really say any more. Currently at Lasham, temperature 20. I'll just see if it's updated. 21, actually, in fact, 21 with a dew point of 15. And we've got a little bit of mixing at low level with some thermal starting. But yeah, there's quite a lot of TAFs generally looking across the region. At the moment, we've got METARs suggesting sort of 1,600 feet for the cloud base. Later today, scattered at 3,500 feet, and that is widely the same across the region. Looking at top meteo, with a start time around 1 o'clock. This is showing cloud base of around 2,500 to 3,000 feet, fairly congested above site. Later this afternoon at 3 o'clock, looking more reasonable cloud base around 3,500 to 4,000 feet. And it sort of peaks at that. Notice in the West Country, it starts to blue out and become unsoarable with that front approaching. So your best area really being either down towards the southwest or up around the Bryce zone, which unsurprisingly is where we tasked you. Later in the day, that's sort of 6 o'clock, there is a chance of some more sort of spread outs in the region, and being a coal, which is on the chart, there is a lot of uncertainty really in exactly where the detail lies with this. So that's why Top Meteo and SkySight actually slightly disagree. The site forecast for Lasham today then, with a start potentially around sort of 1 to 2 o'clock, we've got cloud base of around 3,500 feet above Lasham, maybe up to 4,000 feet later, but if I'm honest, that seems on the rather optimistic side. Climbs weak to moderate, and bases top of cloud at time, sometimes getting up towards 10,000 feet, which has been showing the chance of some spread out. On to SkySight and the different view on the world. Potential flight distance looks like that. Again, we're in a reasonable area, sort of, again, limited by airspace and task direction, etc. With a start time of 1 o'clock, we have weak thermals, probably 1.5 to 2 knots. By 2 o'clock, still fairly similar around here. It does seem that, depending which model you look on, says either Lasham's really good, or actually the task area is, and not, it says effectively neither the other is good. So you may end up finding, and I think it's quite likely, that actually the difficulty will be getting away from Lasham and getting the required cloud base today. This, as you can see, is showing it getting tricky, quite tricky at times. With varying amounts of spread out and variable cloud base. We start at 1 o'clock over Lasham, still looking like we're only going to have 2,500 foot QFE. By 2 o'clock, we may have 3,000 feet QFE, and out to our west, looking at cloud bases potentially of 4,000 feet QFE Lasham. But that's really as good as it gets all around the Bryce zone. And you can see there, this does agree that it blues out from the west. Spread out, plenty of it, I'm afraid. Soundings did show that all the way up. Not really much chance of storms, maybe the odd bit of drizzle with thicker cloud patches. And height of thermals throughout the day, yeah, sort of sitting around the sort of 3,000 to 3,500 foot mark. Convergences, well, I'm afraid this wind direction doesn't lean itself to convergences in this sort of air mass. So unfortunately, I don't think you get much assistance from that. And we'll just look at a site forecast. Let's go for in the middle of the task area, And you can see that during the day, cloud base might get up to around sort of 3,500 feet, but not really much higher than that, and climbs up to sort of 3 to 4 knots, but not expected to get stronger. Tomorrow is looking better though, aside from the unfortunate airspace issues. And one more for the skew T in that same area. Skew T at 4 o'clock showing that we're starting to get thicker cloud from the west coming in, but also we've got reasonable climbs, but with a fair amount of moisture at height, meaning likely spread out. So yeah, I think what I can offer today is some thermals, but with a reasonable chance that we're going to get spread out across the whole task area. So yeah, I think we can think of the weekend as a distant memory now. So back to the director.
Right. Okay, tasks. Right, you can get task sheets from the office here. We've got 5 tasks per class, majority of them going out to the northwest, the longest one going around Bryce. And we've got another task going out to the southwest. That'd be a minimum task about 150. And the reality is we're not going to choose a task probably until about 20-25 minutes before you actually launch. So hopefully we can send you into the area of the best weather. As Jordan said, one of our biggest issues is going to be getting enough high enough convection locally to actually get you off. Obviously need 2,500 feet in visibility and obviously soarable. So Nigel Ander will be our sniffer today. I'm not sure he knows that yet. So yes, we're another grind in the murk for a little while and hopefully show you the way. So task A, Handover Church, Cricklade, this is 80 meters, Andover to Finmere, Welford. So it's task A, but don't be surprised if you don't get that task. Task B, Andover Church, that's a full 4 task, by the way. Cricklade, Andover to Northampton South, Welford, Lasham. Task D is minimum task, Andover Church, Ogbourne, Pickup Rail Bridge, Bullington, Lasham. Task D is a minimum task in a different direction this time, Andover Church, Bullington, Sixpenny Hadley, Fording Bridge, Mottersford, Earthbourne, and you should be familiar with that from the, if you saw the 2-seaters Monday task. 20-meter class, your task A is Ellerfield Church, Cricklade, Andoversford, Finmere, Welford. The plan is though, you'll get 50k less than whatever the 18s get. You're launching a bit less, you've got a bit less performance, so on. So that's the plan. Although your task A is currently similar in task length to them, the plan is, depending on what the weather does, you'll be in 50k less, other than when we send you on the minimums. Task B will be a full 4 task, so Ellisfield Church, Cricklade, Andover, for Northampton South, Welford. Task C is a 200k, Ellisfield Church, Avebury, South, Andover. And 20-meter class D will be minimum, again, just like it is for the 18s, Ellisfield Church, Ogbourne, Didcot, Railbridge, and so on. Finish height will be, again, 400 feet above the airfield. And we'll see you out there in a minute. Now, first of all, we've got Colin. Oh, have I missed task E? Yep. Sorry, I missed class D. E. For you. And that's Ellerfield Church, Bullington, Sixpenny Hadley, Fording Bridge, Mottersford, and so on. Pretty well the same place you went Monday. But we're not expecting any convergences and so on. Hopefully an earlier start than we have on Monday.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Airspace, another boring bit, I'm afraid, but it does need to be said. Okay, I'm making no apology, really, for having to publish version 7 of the airspace file. The reason was that an unnamed, comparatively local RAF station decided they're going to publish a drop zone at 8 o'clock this morning, which we felt you needed to have as a penalty zone because it was going to be active for most of the day. And that's the reason for why we moved from version 6 to version 7, version 7 being the active one. Benson Families Day. This is where they published this DZ. It's a tallish one, and it uses the footprint of their ATZ. This is going to be a penalty zone for safety reasons. So just remembering that little bit, going on, they will be flying helicopters for their families' day, flying their families around within their mats all day long. Various helicopters, maybe some fixed wing traffic in there as well. So we're not making their MATZ penalty, we're just advising you, keep a good lookout. And there is a little picture to show that the Benson DZ now, which is on the same footprint as the Benson ATZ, is now to flight level 85 as a penalty zone. Now we come to the Odium ATZ. It's a penalty zone. It's been a penalty zone since the start of the competition. There have been a few changes to this since we published these slides, which I will just talk about in a minute. But they have got red arrows coming into Odium about 13:20, probably on the ground by 13:20 local time, and they're departing to the south at just after 4 o'clock and returning just after 5. They tell me there will be other fast and large jet and helicopter movements coming into Odium during the day. So this is for their family's day tomorrow, for static display and whatever. So a picture being worth 1,000 words. Let's look at a picture. And I don't know whether I can do this, but you may need to look quite closely at it. You will see a track from Overton direct to Odium. Forget about that. That's not happening now. That's been changed in the last 10 minutes. They are now routing directly from the north of Odium straight to Odium. They're doing a flyby at Benson. That's what, forget that one track running in from the west. There should be a track which I can't draw running in from the north. Now to the south of Odium is a departure of the red arrows from Odium, going down to do a display at Eastbourne and then returning. Tracks are shown there. We've had a discussion about it. They are intending to separate from us. In other words, if they are going to the south on a VFR departure, they will go through the gap between us and Farnborough until they're well away from us. Shouldn't be an issue, but again, you know, airmanship says you need to know about it, and you need to have your eyes outside the cockpit, which I'm sure you all will at that stage. And that could well coincide with some early finishers, maybe. Moving on, Odium DZ is not active today. You will see it in your airspace file, but it's not active. It is not a penalty zone. Penalty zones which are being scored as penalty zones today within the sort of confines of your route are Old Sarum, Chargrove, Benson, Weston on the Green, and any we notified you on the initial brief on Saturday. Seems a long time ago now, doesn't it? Task notes, we've got two sets of task notes here. This is the task notes which refer to all northwesterly tasks, all that involve the Bryce zone and that area. They're there, and probably don't need to say anything more about them because you'll have them on your task sheet anyway, but that's just really a copy of them. A note at the bottom reminding you of our local neighbours who are, their frequencies are not specifically ATZs, but they could be of use to you. And similarly for the, what we would call the fallback task where you are going down to the southwest. A couple of additions there would be Compton Abbas and Boscombe and Wallop, so on and so forth. Content box is closed. I doubt you get high enough to worry about it, quite honestly. And there certainly will be cloud, which wouldn't permit you technically to fly VFR in it. I don't have anything else. If you have any questions.
I see one question about what is the ODM drop zone being mentioned. We have put in the airspace file ready for tomorrow, just so we're not faffing about. The ODM drop zone, which is in place for tomorrow. It is 2.5 nautical miles centered on ODM airfield reference point. It is not active today. So that is why it's being mentioned. You may see it in version 7. Any further questions? Check. Thanks, Rich. We'll go through the formalities. That should not say that. First launch not before 12:30.
Will not be before 12:30. Far more likely to be near 1:30, but we'll announce that and the task when we have best quality data to send you.
Last launch 6 o'clock. Next briefing Friday the 19th at 11 o'clock. As I say, we do appreciate your understanding that we can't launch early tomorrow. We have mitigated it as far as we could. At one point, some weeks ago, it could have been far worse, the impact for us on Friday. So yes, we look forward to a fairly speedy racing task tomorrow. So that is all. We'll leave the chat open for a couple of seconds. But thank you very much, everybody.